What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel and Dad, here in the virtual studio. With me is, sorry, I got a little flustered there because my audio levels weren't working initially. We're good. We're good. Hey, you know what? Let's start that over. Ready? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel, and the most handsome dad, Garrett Morlang. And here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and pocket poppy, Adrian. Homeboy Holmes, what is going on, buddy?
I'm doing all right, my man. How about yourself? I'm up there with you. I'm keeping the energy. Let's do it. I'm doing good. Yeah, I came in weak and I came in flustered because I all of a sudden I was like, well, of course, OBS is having issues now. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Here we go. We're going big. We're going loud. We're going to have some fun tonight. How are you doing this fine day? This fine Monday? I'm doing, man. Well, Monday may have been fine the day itself, but it was definitely a trying day for me. Had a lot going on. Even just to get to the podcast, I feel like I had to do a whole bunch of side quests just before I could get here. So thankfully, we're here now. We're gonna have a good time.
Feeling like a true Bethesda game, you know?
Yeah, like a true a true pre-2023 Bethesda game.
Did you finish Fallout, the TV series?
No, I'm in the middle of it, so don't say anything.
Oh, you have to finish it. Gotta finish it. So good.
There's so much stuff to do.
I know, there's a lot of stuff to do.
Animal Well just came out.
Animal Well came out. It's very good.
The Fallout series is out. X-Men finally wrapped up, which was a phenomenal season. Okay. Oh, it was so good.
I've still only watched the first episode. You were like, you gotta watch it, check it out. And I was like, all right. I watched it. I'm like, okay, yeah, this was cool. And I just haven't touched it since. But I mean, I may be unemployed, but let me tell you, there's still not extra hours in my day. There's no extra hours in my day.
100%.
Oh, man. Although I'm just feeling it with different things now. Like today, I worked out for the first time in like years. And
almost died, apparently.
I almost died. I was so sore. I mean, I usually go for walks for a while now. Like on my lunch, I'll go for like a quick little 30-minute walk. And it's pretty hilly around here. A lot of elevation, up, down, up, down, up, down. So I'm like, all right, that does the trick for the most part. So it's good being unemployed, though. I've definitely been on a downhill turn health-wise. And so I'm like, that needs to change. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my 30-minute walk. And before I do that, I'm going to do a 30-minute workout. So I just went to YouTube, 30-minute workout, body weight, because I don't have weights and equipment, stuff like that. And holy crap, I thought it was going to be a nice chill one. And it was like some high intensity workout, 30 minutes. Let me tell you, like halfway through, I started getting a little dizzy. I had to like lean on my desk. I had to lean against my desk because I was like, I'm going to black out. Like if I don't like stop for like 30 seconds here. I took a couple breaths, took a break for 30 seconds and kept right on going. It was totally fine. just fine. Sweating profusely.
That doesn't sound fine to me, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there. You probably should have sat down and had some water for a couple of minutes, actually.
Nah, I'm fine. Got through it. Went on my walk. That was tough. I was like, oh, maybe the walk will be like a nice cool down. I mean, it's like
you went on a walk after you almost died, so yeah. You do have a death wish.
I know. I could have gotten like hit by a car or something. No. So yeah, I did that. I did the workout and then went for a walk, and it's all hills around here. Man, that first hill, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it up this hill. My legs are wobbly.
Trudy, come pick me up.
I was stumbling around. Like all the neighbors probably think I'm drunk. Like I probably look wasted. Just like my feet like are not
stumbling firm. Around left or right. I like swear I'm trying to just. I look like a
zombie shuffling up the hill. The zombie apocalypse happened, babe. Someone runs outside and double taps me in the middle of the road.
What? He looked just like one of them.
Jeez. Yep. So that's what I did today. And now Trudy's like, let's do a 75-day challenge. I'm like, oh, okay. Let's do this.
Ma'am, I'm already half dead. Can you at least give me a day to recover, please?
No, I need to, though. Because I put on a shirt yesterday. We're getting to church. I'm like, oh, it's my favorite shirt. Put it on. I haven't worn it since like last fall. Didn't fit me. I'm like,
sausage casing? Oh, boy.
All right. things have got to change. I can't fit my favorite shirt. I'm not buying new shirts, not without a job. We got to fit back in these old clothes. And you know what? Grocery budget will probably be less, right?
Fair. That's fair.
Not eating as much garbage. Oh, man. Yeah. So that was my day. I almost died working out, and here's just 74 more days of this.
Godspeed, brother.
Wish me luck. All right. I guess we could talk about video games today. I just wanted to get that off my chest, you know. Today, we're going to be talking about Xbox's response to studio shutdowns, Media Molecule's game tease, and the next big PlayStation game coming to PC. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumble Smash and Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates, Mama Mare, and Carrie. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1. That's right, $1 a month, and you get episodes early and ad-free for the entire month, and access to our Patreon exclusive shows such as Super Later Boys, and previous seasons of Super Gamer Book Club, all ad-free, and even season 1, Patreon exclusive one over there. We'll talk more about our Patreon later on in this show, but just wanted to give you a little tease, a little tidbit in case you're not a patron over there. So patreon.com/supergamerboys. Check that out.
This is me leaving breadcrumbs right here. See?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate
Patreon
that.
breadcrumbs. There you go.
All the way through the show. I want to see you do that like every 5 minutes.
I'm not going to remember that. I'm going to tell you that right now.
It'll just turn into like what they call a Pavlov's response, where like every time you do that, it'll just, all the listeners and viewers, the listeners won't know you're doing it, but the viewers will be like, man,
why does he keep doing that?
They'll think that the first couple episodes, and then every episode after that, they'll be like, man, I should really check out. I don't know why it's this urge to check out Super Game Boys Patreon. They haven't said anything about the Patreon.
That's the weirdest ad campaign you've ever pitched.
We
don't even say anything. Like just start doing like this. Just breadcrumbs.
But see, every time we talk about our Patreon in the next 2 episodes, you have to keep doing that because that's how we train.
Yeah. No, it makes sense when we do that, when we talk about the Patreon to do, the breadcrumbs. But just if I'm like, yeah, Xbox really didn't, I don't know what they were thinking about making, this decision.
I mean, that's how it works though, right? For the next few episodes, every time we talk about it, you got to do it, and then we'll just stop talking about it.
Subliminal advertising.
No one will have to deal with the ads at all. It'll be ad free for everyone except for those.
So we just cut the Patreon ad and then just replace everything in it with just us randomly doing the little breadcrumb gesture. All right.
Exactly.
We'll have to workshop that one.
I think we're onto something here. Oh man, I obviously do not have enough oxygen in my brain yet.
Clearly, if you were getting ready to pass out earlier.
Let's talk more about our Patreon later on the show. Right now, I want to give a huge shout out to Jack Sriracha, Yate, and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music on our show. Currently, we're listening to Yate and DJ Trooz, so make sure to go check them out over on Spotify and Apple Music. Links will be in the show description on podcast apps and here on YouTube down below. Let me take a breath. All right. I think it's now time to check the mail.
Let's do it.
All right. Super Gamer Bot. Where are you? There we go.
Ah, there you are. I was beginning to think you guys stood me up. Well, now that you're here, let's read some questions.
We would never.
We were just late, man. It's okay. We weren't not gonna say anything.
Just a little late. That's all. Nothing too major here.
Come on, dude.
All right. Super Gamer Bot, do you mind throwing us that first question from Kajoma?
Kajoma asks, do you think there should be more AAA games for everyone instead of just adults? Kids deserve quality too.
That's an interesting one. So yeah, Kajoma mentions that they saw a comment on Twitter about how many AAA games are not made for children nowadays, besides Nintendo games. And do we think there should be more common? I guess like thinking about it, I don't know, like back in the day, like what was there back in the day? Like growing up with like PS1 and PS2, was there like AAA games that were rated E for everyone? Like
I would argue Crash and Spyro were AAA.
I was just gonna say that. As soon as I said that, I'm like, oh, you know what? Like Crash, Spyro, Jack and Daxter, at least the first one.
Sly Cooper.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. A lot of the first party games were. Xbox never necessarily had that. They were always kind of like the grown up.
Excuse you, Blinks and Blinks 2?
I'm so sorry.
Thank you very
Blinks
much.
The Time Cat. I apologize.
The Time Sweeper. Thank you very much.
The Time Sweeper,
Okay?
whatever it is.
Don't look. Xbox is taking a lot of L's, especially this week. But I'm gonna give them their W's when they get W's. All right, and that's Blinks is one of them.
How could we ever forget Blinks, the Time Sweeper?
Thank you.
Oh man,
you want me to go? I'll go. You want me to go?
I was gonna make a joke about Gex, but it wasn't coming together in my head.
Because it's not AAA. That's why. You realized that you backed out.
That's pretty much it.
I would argue that I don't think there should be AAA games for kids at all. And what I'm saying when I say that is,
you heard it here first. Adrian doesn't think there should be AAA games at all. Right.
Well, no. I understand why I would be a target of people saying that, of course, because of the games I champion. But anyway, I say that to say, when you just like staying in the creative field, Pixar makes movies for everybody, right? Not just for kids, not necessarily just for adults. They make it for everybody. And I really respect that about them, because taking that approach made them one of the biggest forces in the industry for animation, right? And
yeah,
I think it's also shows respect for children, because I feel like society tends to kind of lessen them, when in reality kids are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. They just don't know necessarily how to articulate certain thoughts, as well as an adult, or convey how they feel about things as well. But they certainly still feel those feelings and have those thoughts. So I think that there should be AAA games, but I also think that there should be AAA games for everybody. And I think Nintendo is really the only one that's doing that. That they make games with elements that are obviously for adults that kids won't necessarily fully grasp, but the mechanics and at its most, I guess, low form, it's still accessible to children. And it's still fun for a kid to play, and an adult can look further into the game and get more mechanics and more meaning and more, X, Y, and Z out of it. So yeah, I don't think there should be AAA games just for kids. I think there should be AAA games for everybody that kids can play.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's 100% true. And that's even some of those ones we mentioned of like in the earlier days of video games, Crash, Spyro, Sly Fox, stuff like that. Like even those ones were also for everyone. They weren't just geared towards kids. Like maybe they initially had like the facade of like, being childish because they're cartoony or whatnot. But even some of the themes in those games, there was a lot of adult themes, whether it was just, innuendos and jokes, to even like just more mature storylines as well, that like a kid would just be like, oh, whatever. And an adult would be like, oh man, like that was really like emotional or whatnot. And, or like you were saying, just a way to introduce kids to these more, a wider range spectrum of like entertainment, and more than this just like bright colors and lights and flashy things. It's like, oh, like there's meaning to things, So yeah, I like that. I'm surprised that Nintendo is the only one doing it, and that's interesting. Like, I wonder why was there that change? Like, yeah, they could argue like gamers grew up, the 90s and early 2000 kids kind of like grew up that kind of grew up with a lot of those games. But at the same time, they're still kids today. It's not like kids went away.
Right. You're gonna need those kids to be fans of video games so that when they age up, they continue to buy your product. So excluding them from your offerings is pretty short-sighted, which I feel like Sony is the number one culprit of. Is they make a lot of games. Maybe I'd say their closest is probably Ratchet and Clank. That it can be played by everybody, but that's one out of everything, right? Horizon's not for kids. You can argue Spider-Man might be, but some of the subject matter is definitely not aimed at younger children.
Right.
God of War is not for children. Ghost of Tsushima is not for children. Days Gone definitely wasn't for kids.
I mean, that wasn't for anyone even.
Right.
Just to be completely honest.
But I'm just saying they've made that switch, and and of course Last of Us is absolutely not for kids.
Oh, yeah.
So
unless you want your kids
I don't know.
Scarred for life.
I feel like I don't know how Sony is planning to invest in the younger audiences to keep them wanting Sony products going forward.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, they just heavily rely on third party, like whether it's Fortnite or whatever, a plethora of other things. But yeah, I think there's something about having a AAA IP that you own that really does, draw kids in. Like you want to have the ultimate fans for your gaming console. Like, give them a reason to be a major fan of your gaming console. Like, that's how you build those lifelong, like, Xbox fans and the Sony ponies or whatever you want to say. Like, I mean, that was me up until just a few years ago when I was like, oh, like computer PC gaming's cool, and like, oh, Xbox has good stuff. But for 20 some years, I was like hardcore Sony because they had that as a kid. They had all those PlayStation games that I loved as a kid. So, it just seems like a no-brainer, like to continue to be like, hey, if we can market these games to these, the younger generation, then that would get that brand loyalty from such an early age. But yeah, just Nintendo's doing it. But I don't know. It's interesting.
I don't know.
I think they should. Yeah. I think they should make more games, and I agree with you, Adrian. I think that's the best way to put it. Is like, it needs make games for everyone. Make games that are to all audiences, but that do like entice the younger ones, because
and I'm not saying never make stuff. Of course, there's material out there that's only going to be for adults. That goes without saying. But there should be maybe a lot more, content aimed at everybody than there is. Significantly more than there is now, which is next to none. So
right. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe with, we're supposed to be getting a new, CEO of PlayStation at some point. Right now, it's just the interim CEO, right? Like
dual CEOs.
Is there going to be dual?
Yeah.
Oh,
Herman Hulst is one, and then it just broke today.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't see that.
Oh, man,
okay.
We're gonna have to do a breaking news.
Breaking news. Okay, interesting. Well, either way, okay, it's good. Who are the new CEOs going to be coming into Sony? Like, they might have plans for that. You never know. That's the
hopefully.
And even over at Xbox, we're going to talk about this new story soon.
They got other fish to fry right now.
I mean, the thing is, they're losing all their. They're losing so much that maybe that's where they need to head next. Is like, all right, we've struck out everywhere else. Next, it's the kids. We need to target the kids.
Hello, King.
Yeah,
we need some mobile games. Stat.
All the mobile games, all the Candy Crush. Oh man. Let's go ahead and get this next question here from Crimson. There we go. Ooh, which Mario Party is your favorite? Two. Okay, that was fast.
Without a doubt.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you.
If you can't tell them apart, that's totally fair too, because they take a lot from each other going forward.
I had never played a Mario Party until the 2 that came out on Switch.
What? Never? Not once?
Not once. I think we talked about this before. This is we've had this, and it blew your mind then too. So I'm surprised.
I know you said you didn't have it, but I remember you said you didn't have a 64. I remember that. Right, so it makes sense you wouldn't have been able to play those, but you had a GameCube, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't have Mario Party though.
Wow. I don't remember us having this conversation.
Yeah, never. I mean, not that I can remember. Like, I didn't own it, and none of my like cousins owned it. I might have, like, there's a chance I might have played it at like a friend from school's house like one time, and I just don't remember it because it was 4th grade or something. And do you really remember anything from that long ago? But yeah, no, I never played one until what was the bad one on Switch? The first one that came out was
Super Mario Party. Well, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't what it was. It wasn't what Mario Party Superstars was.
Yeah, Mario Party
Superstars is amazing.
It's great. I love it, and that's my answer for my favorite one. Like, it's so good because it has.
I'll take it.
Some of the best, from what I hear, like some of the best games from all the rest of them.
Yeah.
All right, it's like a greatest hits.
Sock in the chat says Mario Party 6 and 7 on GameCube were so good. They were solid. They were definitely very solid entries. I would say Mario Party. I would say you can't go wrong with a Mario Party all the way up until 8, and then 9 and 10 are garbage.
What was 9 and 10? Was that Wii?
Wii and Wii U.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay.
10 was the one where you all had to play together on this. You all moved together in the same car, and you had to work together to beat Bowser. Yeah, it sucks. It sucked. I don't know. They tried something. They swung and they missed real bad.
Defeats the whole purpose of the game.
Yes, exactly.
What is one of your favorite? This was a part of Crimson's question, but I'm gonna ask anyways. What's one of your favorite maps?
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, this is tricky for you because you have history. So like you have a whole.
I would probably say
like a handful.
I'd probably say Spaceland. That's the one that has the big laser in it, and every time you go past the middle of the map, the little screen counts down, and when it gets to 0, it shoots this giant laser all the way across the map. And if you happen to be anywhere in the laser's path, you lose all your coins. All of them.
Insane.
Love that map. I love seeing people get hit by that laser.
That's a very good one. I've played that because I think that one's in.
It's in Superstars.
That's in Superstars. I think mine are either between Peach's birthday cake.
Also a good one with the piranha plants.
The piranha plants, and I just feel like every time we've played that one, because we've played streams of that one, one person, I mean, this is the case with Mario Party no matter what, but for some reason with that map, one person gets absolutely screwed so bad every single time, like beyond. Remember the last time we streamed it, it was Selks. Selks was playing with us. It was you, me, Eddie, and Selks. And Selks just got the worst. He was such a great sport, though. The whole time, I'm like, Selks, if I was you, I'd have rage quit a long time ago.
Exactly.
He was very quiet the whole time. He was very quiet. So I'm like, he was probably very, very ticked off, but he was a good sport hung in there. So either Peach's birthday cake or actually there's one from Super Mario Party that was fun. It was the Bob-omb one, where you go around the map, and then if you hit on like the certain special squares, that like counts down on the King Bob-omb's powder keg or whatever, and like it's like in a mine setting, and then you could also go to different areas, and the mine carts would take you around different parts of the map. That one was kind of fun. I like that one because it's just like, oh shoot, like when's the bomb gonna go off and who's it gonna hit? Yeah, that was a good one. I like that one a lot. But yeah, those are probably two of my favorites.
Solid picks all around.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for our listener questions. I mean, we might have had one or two more, but we want to save them.
We'll hold them.
But that doesn't mean you shouldn't write in. If you got some, we'd appreciate it. Go over to supergamerboys.com/Discord. Join our Discord. And then it's we got the channel over there. Drop your questions there. Chat with us throughout the week. What game you're playing. Hang out with us. Talk about what shows you're watching. You can tell me when you finish Fallout, because I would love to. I feel like we were talking about like watching it, and then we haven't talked about, there's been no discussions in the Discord about finishing it. So more people need to finish it. So we have some discussions in there. Get on it, Adrian.
All right, well, let me get through the rest of this fantastic stuff I have to do. It's not like I have a whole Final Fantasy game I still need to play, or Animal Well that just came out, or I didn't just buy a new Pocket, anything like that.
I mean, you can watch the show while playing a game. That's what I've been doing. I've been playing Animal Well and watching Dimension 20, catching up on the new season.
That's a podcast, though. I feel like Fallout requires your attention because you need to see what's going on. You can just listen to D20.
I mean, I'm watching it on Dropout, so like I'm seeing the board, the mini. Like, you're right.
That's fair, but it's also easier to just consume the audio of D20 than it is.
That's true. It's a little different, but still.
Just a hair.
All right, well, that's it for the mailbag. Now it's time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes.
Absolutely incredible. Perfection every time, Adrian. Here we are. This first news story comes to us from gamesindustry.biz, written by Jeffrey Rousseau, Xbox president. So the quote, "Our commitment is to make sure that the business is healthy for the long term. Regarding Tango Gameworks shuttering, Sarah Bond said, we look at a whole variety of factors when we're faced with sort of making decisions." I don't know if that's a misquote or if that's actually what she said.
Hold on.
Yes.
We're just talking. We didn't even talk about the fact that they did that.
Well, okay. Well, we'll get into it. This is the headline. This is the quotes.
Okay.
Let's give everyone a little bit of background now, because this article focuses more on the response from Xbox. But the original story here is there's one by Brendan Sinclair, gamesindustry.biz. Xbox shutting down 4 Bethesda studios, Arcane Austin, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse on the chopping block. Microsoft is shutting down 4 of the studios it picked up as part of the 2020 Bethesda acquisition, as reported by IGN. The 4 studios include Arcane Austin, maker of last year's disappointing Redfall, and and also, some incredible games like
The Evil Within.
Arcane Austin, which they made Prey and they made Dishonored 2. Right. And then, so it just bothers me that this article focuses on the disappointing Redfall. Like, yeah, Redfall was disappointing, but it's also the studio that brought you Dishonored and Prey, 2 very good games.
Excellent games.
And Tango Gameworks, the studio behind Hi-Fi Rush, Ghostwire Tokyo, The Evil Within. Beyond that pair, Mighty Doom developer Alpha Dog Studios and Human Head software successor Roundhouse Games are also shutting down. In an email to staff, Xbox Game Studio head Matt Booty reportedly said the company was closing the developers in order to focus resources on high-impact titles and the rest of Bethesda's portfolio of games. To double down on these franchises and invest to build new ones requires us to look across the business to identify the opportunities that are best positioned for success, Booty said. This reprioritization of titles and resources means a few teams will be realigned to others and that some of our colleagues will be leaving us. I'm not sure if it's... here it is. Because he says few teams will be realigned with others, as in they're not getting fired. But then he goes on to say... Basically,
that's a fraction of them, thanks.
Yeah, the only ones that are sticking around is... so that he said there's a few from Arcane Austin going to other Bethesda studios, and then the entire team of Roundhouse is going to ZeniMax Online to work on Elder Scrolls Online. But the entire Tango Gameworks is gone. Most of Arcane Austin is booted, and then whatever that other one was, the recognize.
I feel like if I was at
Alpha Dog
Arcane Austin,
Studios.
I would have quit out of solidarity.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me though. Like if you're firing the rest of us, why do we get to stay? You know, I'm part of this team.
Well,
if you don't want this team,
and the thing is too, it's probably like just hire directors and managers and stuff like that with it. So it's like all like the lower level jobs are like, yeah, we can find these anywhere. But then they're like, ooh, these, producers, directors, executives, like, oh, hold on to them. They don't say that specifically. That's just speculation, but I mean, that's probably the case.
Right.
In addition to studio closures, Booty said a small number of people in Bethesda publishing and corporate roles will also be laid off. So there were some executive roles that were laid off as well, just in Bethesda as a whole.
Probably because they were redundant.
As for the games these teams have been working on, Redfall will not receive any more content updates. Those who purchased the Hero Pass DLC, which was advertised as including 2 yet-to-be-made playable characters, will receive an unspecified make good of some sort. So there was supposed to be 2 new characters and more story missions added for this DLC that they sold for actual money. People bought it, and then they're going to be like, sorry, that's not happening, but we're going to make it good somehow. It's like, if you're not refunding me, that's not good enough.
There's nothing else you could do. I don't want an Xbox. Don't send me an Xbox t-shirt. Don't do that. Give me my money back.
They send everyone like a Redfall t-shirt. Like, here,
right,
a t-shirt for this game
that
we're not supporting anymore. As for Alpha Dog's cute mobile top-down shooter, Mighty Doom, that game will be sunset August 7th. Microsoft announced in January that it would be laying off 1,900 people from its games division. Microsoft declined our request for clarification as to whether these cuts are part of the round of layoffs or in addition to it. So yeah, that's the origin story. That happened Tuesday. Of course, that happened right after we recorded our episode. I'm like, every time the big news always breaks Tuesday morning. We record Monday night, Tuesday morning it happens. We should just change the recording date or something. I don't know, it drives me crazy. So back to this story. Xbox President Sarah Bond says that Microsoft's shuttering of 4 Bethesda studios is to ensure the firm's business is healthy for the long term. The comment came from the recent interview with Bloomberg's Dina Bass, Bass, as the executive noted, BASS. Could be either or.
Oh, yeah, it could be either, yeah.
As the executive noted that while 2023 saw big game releases, growth in the games industry was still flat, and the cost of AAA titles continues to rise. Bond was asked how consumers should understand the shuttering decision in terms of the firm's commitment to developing exclusive games. She said, "When we look at those fundamental industry trends, we feel a deep responsibility to ensure that the games we make, the devices we build, the services that we offer are there through moments, even when the industry isn't growing and when you're through a time of transition. The news we announced earlier this week is an outcome of that, and our commitment to make sure that the business is healthy for the long term." The executive also said that Microsoft still has a commitment to having its own studios and working with partners to deliver games large and small.
Where are they?
Yeah, right. Wait, what games? What are we getting?
Yeah, what games are we? What? What?
Like, there's
Perfect
a couple.
Dark, where's that? Gear 6, where's that?
Yeah, exactly. Halo Infinite, that was supposed to be the Halo for the next 10 years. Are we getting anything new for that other than battle passes? Bass's next topic was the closure of Tango Gameworks. She asked if a studio releases a title such as Hi-Fi Rush, which won awards and was well received, shouldn't that ensure a game maker's future? In response, Bond said, "One of the things I really love about the games industry is it's a creative art form. It means that the situation and what success is for each game and studio is also really unique. Like, there's no size fits all to it for us. We look at each studio, each game." This statement's so ridiculous. "And we look at a whole variety of factors. When we're faced with sort of making decisions and trade-offs like that. But it all comes back to
the same factors that Aaron Greenberg said that they hit all of."
Wait. You interrupted me. She says, "But it all comes back to our long-term commitment to the games." Obviously not.
Get out of my face, dude.
What is this nonsense?
Hold on.
That's like that's her soundbite. That was all she was told before she went on stage. They're like, "I don't care what you say, just make sure you keep reiterating it all comes back to our long-term commitment to games," and wink at the camera. Like,
2 things. I don't know who's telling her this, but this is the complete opposite of what's going on, right? They said, and I'm just talking about Tango here because Hi-Fi Rush for me is the biggest, hitter close to me. I don't know how they told her to say this when there's literal concrete evidence to the contrary, saying that Hi-Fi Rush hit all its marks. It was a great game. Everybody loved it. And we're working with Tango to see what they want to do with it next, right? They said that almost verbatim in the tweet from Aaron Greenberg. What happened? What changed?
I loved how they came out, and Matt Booty also later came out. There's a tweet. I didn't read the full article, but there's a tweet that had his quote in it. And Matt Booty's quoted saying, "We need smaller games that give us prestige and awards."
What are you?
And so Hi-Fi Rush? Hi-Fi Rush? That's the game. And then what I loved is the same day that came out, I retweeted it on Twitter. At EGA1002, he was a game project manager at Tango Gameworks. He posted a picture of the shelf, chock full
all the awards, and he said, "Is this not enough?"
And it just says, "Not enough?" ?
Firstly, I hate that they threw Sarah out there and under the bus when 100%. She likely had nothing to do with this, because I'm sure they're gonna.
Being the president of Xbox, she probably had some to do with it, but still,
very little compared to Phil and compared to Satya Nadella, who's like the CEO of Microsoft.
It would have been spread out amongst a lot of people, not just her. That's for sure.
Right,
yeah, you're right.
I'm looking at Phil way before I'm looking at Sarah. So it should have been him. I mean, she's probably the one that was booked to speak at this event, because apparently this was booked, a few months ago before we even heard about the closures.
It's unfortunate timing.
It is. But if I'm Phil, I feel like I'm the one that needs to go out there then, and explain what's going on, because I'm in charge.
Yeah. I'm
not gonna throw my, for lack of a better term, subordinate out there to take the blame for something that I had to have the overall say in. That's whack. That was I kind of lost a little bit of respect for him for doing that.
Someone made a good point, because, and I don't know, I need to do more research on my own before I solidify this sentiment, because people can say anything on the internet, but
of course
this person threw out a few just little tidbits. I can't remember where I saw it. I think it was on Twitter, but I can't remember who said it. But someone was like, Phil Spencer, people talk him up like he's like this big shot, the best thing that's ever happened to Xbox. But really, when, at least again, according to this person's stats that they had and information, they're like, he hasn't done much good for Xbox, really. Like he's, if anything, there's been like some of the biggest failures even under him as well. Like there's been some big leaps and jumps, but there's also been some it's high highs and low lows with him. Right. And I'm like, again, I need to do more research of my own, but it was just interesting because in the moment when I was reading this, I'm like, they're not wrong. Like, yeah, there's been some like horrible, just like missteps with him. And not that there wasn't issues before with other people, but it's like, man, yeah, you're getting the high highs, like, oh, cool, like Game Pass is great, or this is good. But then it's like, oh, that was a weird decision. Like, what are you doing over there? But people are just so quick to forgive Phil. And that was the point of the tweet. People are so quick to forgive him because he's just so charismatic. People love him. And it's like, nah, it's easy to just love the man, even though it's like, it's fine, Phil, it's all good. But it's like, nah, He needs to own up to these mistakes eventually.
This is also true. I think a lot of people give him a pass because in colloquial terms, right? You have to think about the fact that while he was there the entire time, when he stepped into the role of being the boss, he was essentially in a burning plane and pulling up on the yoke to try to save it from crashing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he did. Because, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Xbox was on the way out of here. After that whole Xbox One generation and how bad they flopped and all that.
Wasn't great.
That was not great at all. They were getting mollywopped, right? So I think people, they hold a lot of goodwill for him because a lot of his decisions, even though he did make some boneheaded ones along the way, a lot of his decisions secured the fact that there is an Xbox today, right? So I think that's where that sentiment comes from, and I think that's why people are willing to shoot him so much bail when things like this come up, is because, yeah, you made a lot of bonehead decisions, but at least you're here to make those bonehead decisions, and there's still an Xbox for you to kind of, do this with, per se.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I can think of. That's the only rationale that I have for why people view him in such a high regard.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing is extremely sad because, man, like, I mean, yeah, the other two studios are more known for like support work or mobile games. So it's like, I mean, it's still sad that people are losing their jobs.
Yeah,
but it was kind of like, oh, okay, like I just like, why couldn't they got reshuffled into like King? That's what King's known for, is all their mobile games. So it's like, all right. So just boot them. And maybe they did. They just didn't mention in the press release, but that seems like an important thing to mention. Like, oh, they just got moved over to King. But like, yeah, Tango Gameworks and Arcane Austin, like, these are at this point like pretty hitters, pretty legendary like studios. Like, honestly, man, like, that's like, I'm trying to think of a comparison that's doesn't sound totally wild and not a left field, but I don't know, in my head, like that feels like, I mean, they were technically a AAA studio because they were owned by Xbox, but that to me, it's like, that's like getting rid of Insomniac or something, right?
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I was gonna say like, Sucker Punch. Yeah, like get rid of Sucker Punch. Or...
Yeah, like that's insane. Like, I just couldn't imagine me like, you've made some good stuff in the past, but you know what?
But you made this one mediocre game, and now we're gonna shut you down forever. What?
Yeah, I don't know. I get, and a lot of people I know are gonna come and attack us and be like, "Well, obviously you don't understand how businesses work." Then it's like, you know what?
Of course, like, we don't run multi-billion-dollar companies.
But we also understand, like, we also understand that we've seen other companies make different decisions to make things work, if that makes sense. Like, I think you had mentioned before, like, who, what was it during the Wii U generation? Who was it there at Nintendo took like a pay cut?
Oh, Iwata.
Yeah, Iwata like took a pay cut to make things work. He's like, I don't need my millions of dollars every year. Like, I can live off of like $1 million, you know? And it's
I'm
like
good. Even with the pay cut, I think he was still raking in quite a few million. And in Japan, you could make a very good living with that. You know what? I don't need it this year. Give it to them.
Yeah. It's like there's so many other ways that this could have played out that that kept a lot of these people. And I think that's what's most frustrating is like, all right, yeah, you're right. I'm not a businessman. But I think that's what sucks about the video games industry is it is all just business now. And you miss so much of the art aspect and the creative aspect of it. Yes, it's still an aspect of making a game, like obviously being creative and making art is, but the business side trumps all in so many situations, and it's sad. And that's why more and more, like, I don't know, I'm coming to appreciate, since knowing you and getting your recommendations and you're hearing your love for like indie games is like, man, I just wish every studio was indie now. Like, they could just make what they want when they want, and because I don't know, like, it's sad to see like, oh, okay, well, sorry, like, you made one little mistake or you didn't make quite enough money for us, so we're just gonna shut you down. Like, that's wild. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't like that.
Or because the moves that we made lost us so much money that we have to figure out how to make it back on another end. Right. So we got to close you guys down. I mean, it's bad either. It's a bad look either way, but you know, because it's both based off of short-sighted or incorrect decisions that they made. Sock said in the chat, he said Hi-Fi Rush was literally their best release this gen. It was.
Yeah.
What was better than that?
Yeah. What else has Xbox like exclusive put out that's comes anywhere close to Hi-Fi Rush? Let me look that up real quick. I'm just curious. Google their Xbox Studio game releases.
It really bums me out, man, because I really and what really bums me out is we talked last week about studios that do a game and then they walk away because they felt like they've said all they needed to say or they've done what they needed to done with an IP. And then word comes out that Tango actually was pitching Hi-Fi Rush 2 because they had more that they wanted to do with this world and these characters in this game.
Dang, yeah.
And now we'll never get to see that. I am probably, well, I'm not gonna say that because there's always people who love things, but I am a massive fan of the first Hi-Fi Rush. I had such a great time and got so attached to that game and those characters. I was really, looking forward to seeing them again sometime in the future. I'm thankful that we got the one that we got because it'll always be around, but I really would have loved to see them be able to go further in the story.
Yeah.
And now we will never get that.
100%. I mean, we got Psychonauts 2, a lot of Forza games, Halo Infinite.
Oh, Psychonauts was really good.
Psychonauts was good. As Dusk Falls, Grounded, Pentiment, GoldenEye 007, Age of Empires 2, Minecraft Legends, Killer Instinct, Flight Sim.
Okay, so the only one in that same caliber so far that you've mentioned is Pentiment and Psychonauts.
Psychonauts 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much. There's not much like.
So 3 games in 4 years.
It's been like a bunch of just like Grounded.
2 of which weren't
Grounded
made,
I've heard
right.
is good, but it's like it's no AAA juggernaut. It's
right.
Like people enjoy it.
It's not a killer app.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely
so 3
wild.
games and only 2 of them were made by Microsoft Studios in 4 years.
What do you mean? What's all the ones I listed were all Xbox Studios.
Oh, Pentiment is owned by, I thought they just published it.
It was by Obsidian Entertainment.
Oh.
Which is owned by
I was thinking it was
Microsoft.
somebody else. I thought they would just did the, the ID at Xbox thing where we'll publish it for you, blah, blah, blah.
No, that was an Obsidian game. Yeah.
Is this why Avowed's taking so long? Because they were working on that?
Maybe. I mean, that came out 2022, so they've had a couple of years now since then, but I hope, I'm excited about Avowed. That one actually looks good. But again, that's like late 2024, maybe. We'll see.
Sock said, as I'm assuming he's speaking as Xbox, he said, we want to connect with Japan. Let's close our Japanese-led studio, our only Japanese studio.
That's true. They bought that up, so stoked to like finally branch out of the US, and then it's like,
Well, you know what though? Here's my question. Is, were they stoked about buying Tango? Were they stoked about buying Arcade? Or was this just, collateral that they had to buy in order to have the ABK deal go through? Right? Like, are these all just things that they needed to, they're like, I guess Bobby Kotick was like, this is
but these studios weren't connected. These studios were with the Bethesda deal. This is
I'm
this
thinking
is a different
Bethesda.
deal. Yeah.
But okay, well, switch the studio. Then I'm same. The concept remains, right?
Yeah.
That in order for them to,
they really wanted
be able to
the Bethesda properties. They really wanted Doom. They really wanted Fallout. They really wanted Skyrim.
Elder Scrolls.
And they're just like,
you have to take all of it.
Like, okay, well, we'll take it all. We don't really want it, which is wild. Like, okay, like let them. I don't know. I wonder if anyone was even like if the option was even given, like for them to like buy out. Like, hey, you become independent, because that's.
I doubt it.
I mean, that happened. What was the studio recently that did that? There was another studio that just did that. Like, hey, we just bought ourselves out, so we're independent now.
Wasn't that Remedy?
I think. Was it Remedy or it was someone? It was like a bigger studio.
I feel like it was Remedy. IO, wasn't it?
I think IO might. There's been a few. There's not just one. I know there's one recently, like in the past like 3-4 months. But yeah, Soak says IO Interactive. But I feel like there's been a couple more that are just like, yeah, we're free. I just wonder if that talks were even given, or if there was just a decision behind closed doors, and then they just dumped that on them without even like them knowing it. I don't know. Because that would have been, you can imagine if they could just continue on as an indie studio. That would have been amazing.
Right. Yeah, I highly doubt that they got that option, unfortunately. Yeah, man, this was really discouraging to find out that it happened, and it makes me worried for their other studios, like especially Ninja Theory. I am terrified for Ninja Theory right now, because Did you know Hellblade comes out in a week? Hellblade 2?
I only know because I've seen all the kerfluffle on Twitter about people being so like, where's the marketing for Hellblade 2?
Do you see how expensive that game looks? And how expensive that game probably is?
100% game definitely is extremely expensive. I mean, it was using Unreal 5 right before Unreal 5 was even a thing. Like it's been using experimental stuff for years. Like that game is going to be so enormously expensive. I don't know how there's any way they could pay for that even through the sales of the game. Because even the first game was, again, well liked. It was and really highly rated. Like people love the first one, but boy, is that enough? Like they need almost like Call of Duty levels of sales, I feel like, to recoup those costs.
To pay this off, yeah.
They're not going to get that, I don't think.
No. Especially not because nobody knows it's coming out.
Right, exactly.
What marketing have you seen for it?
They spent all
Xbox.
They spent all the budget on the game, so they didn't have the budget left for the marketing.
What are you doing?
They're just hoping that
this is your first Unreal 5 exclusive. Why are you not? You should be ads from here to the moon, right? Every Xbox that we make after a certain date, on the back of the box, it's gonna have Hellblade as the picture. You know what I mean?
They're just hoping that Jeff Keighley. They're hoping that Jeff Keighley was going to do all the marketing for him between Summer Game Fest and Game Awards.
Yeah, like, a month after it comes out.
Jeff, keep tweeting about it. Keep tweeting about it. Do the free marketing for us. Oh man. So when this, and because of the marketing that the game has had, when it comes out and it eventually flops, because it likely will, since nobody knows about it, they're going to do the same thing. Well, Ninja Theory, we have metrics that we have to meet, and you guys didn't necessarily meet them, and blah, blah, blah. And we made the decision to dissolve Ninja Theory and, cancel their support for whatever DLC that they were going to make for Hellblade. There probably
wouldn't be DLC. Coming.
There wouldn't be DLC, but it would still be sad either way. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's... Soak7 says Obsidian worries me too. That's true. Like, what's Obsidian?
Yeah, Avowed.
Like, yeah, with Avowed coming out this year, like that comes out again and flops. Like, it just seems so wild to me how flippantly Xbox is like, yeah, big legendary studio that makes some incredible games. Bye bye. Like, it's just like it's this pocket change to them. Just like, or not. That's the wrong analogy. But it's the idea of this. Like, it's whatever, just throw in the trash. It's like, wait, what? Like this is fine china. Like, what are you doing with this? You're just like giving it to Goodwill or throwing a dumpster. Like, you sell this or do something. Pass it on to your kids. I don't know. It's these extremely valuable studios that have history and so much like, they're such a huge part of the games industry and have for so long. And then to just be like, chuck it over the shoulder into the bin. It's just wild. I don't know.
As long as it's not Bethesda Game Studios, they don't care.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's where we're at, and they get to keep all the IPs. That's the thing. That's what I assume is going to happen. Is they're going to try to make these games still with because they have the IPs still. They can get rid of the studios, still have the IPs, but it's like, all right, it's not going to be the same because it's not that core team. All the Tango Gameworks people are gone. They all got fired. But they're going to be like, all right, Bethesda Studios, try to make Hi-Fi Rush 2. And it's all these people who don't have any connection to the first one. And it's going to come out and be bad. And then they're going to be like, see, this is why we got rid of Tango Gameworks. And it's going to be like, what? No,
and everybody,
nothing.
You're right.
Nothing
Everybody's
to do with
gonna be
anything.
like, what are you talking? We didn't even work on it. What do you mean? This is why you got rid of us. The one we made went crazy. What are you talking about? Man. Yeah, man. I don't know. This sucks. This sucks all around. I can't find any positive with this.
Sad. Very sad. And it's very sad just how the leadership over there is handling the whole situation as well. But with that, I think it's time to move on to this next news story. This next news story comes to us from Game Rant, written by Pryrai. I apologize if
I'll take your word for it
correctly. Little Big Planet and Dream Studio teases next game. Media Molecule, the developer behind Little Big Planet, is working on a brand new IP, which is reportedly less of a creative tool, unlike its latest title, Dreams. The news about the Little Big Planet creators' next project comes from co-founder Mark Healy, who exited the company in 2023. Back in September of last year, Media Molecule stopped shipping updates for Dreams, and last month it further dropped curation support for Dreams players. In the original announcement, the developer mentioned it was ending support for the PS4 game in order to focus its efforts on an exciting new project instead. Most recently, new information about the studio's next project has been revealed. In a MinMax interview, Media Molecule co-founder and former employee Mark Healy shared that a new IP, which is more of a game than a creative tool, is in development at the UK-based studio. Taking note of the layoffs at Media Molecule from last year, Healy reassured the fans by hinting that the developer's next game may not be in danger of being axed. He mentioned that parent firm Sony has a lot of faith in the developer and added, at the very least, they're going to make this game. Boy, what a soundbite right there. That's all you need to hear right there. At the very least, they're going to make this game. And then who knows after that?
Let them make this game, but if this game flops, we already gave them a chance with Dreams and that didn't work out. You're done.
Yeah, what a wild state the games industry is in right now. But yeah, recently Media Molecule listed a job role that described its next undertaking as an original game and not related to the Dreams franchise. Healy's statement from the interview directly aligned with the job posting and more or less established that the developer's new game will be quite different from its latest work. Given that the Dreams director has confirmed that the next IP tilts more towards being a game than being a tool, there are chances that community-driven content may not be as big a part of it as it was in Dreams. In other words, Media Molecule's next game may offer a straightforward gaming experience minus the creation suite. See, that to me almost is like stripping the DNA of Media Molecule, because even Little Big Planet was all about the creation tools. Mm-hmm. Like it had a story mode and a gameplay that you could do, but the whole fun of it was then making your own things and sharing it with people. So okay, like maybe you can save the studio by making this game and maybe it's good and PlayStation keeps you around, but at what cost? You've sold your soul at that point,
I was gonna say, is it worth your soul?
Yeah. If I was in their situation, I'd probably do the same thing, like just whatever it takes just to keep my job. As someone who experienced that over the last few months with my job and ended up with now without it, that's something where like, oh, if I was in their situation and I had a chance, like all we got to do is make a game that's good. Then yeah, I'd go for it. But man, it's sad that they also feel like they're on the chopping block as well, right? Like I don't know. That's not
which is nuts, dude. I pray to the video game gods every day that Sony doesn't make the incredibly stupid decision to close Media Molecule. I've said it an infinite number of times. Media Molecule is by far Sony's most creative studio.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Better, way more creative than Naughty Dog, pretty much the rest of them put together. When it comes to just surprise and delight and creation and things like that, they're unmatched in the PlayStation sphere.
They've had Little Big Planet 1, 2, and 3. They've had Tearaway. They've had Dreams.
Amazing.
Like, all incredible games. I love Dreams. I didn't get super into it because I didn't have the time to sink hundreds of hours into making a game within a game, essentially. But I mean, I loved what I played of it and like playing other people's things. Like, man, Dreams was such an incredible thing that was, like you said, like so creative. Like it was the pre-made stuff they put in there on top of like allowing people and giving people these incredible tools to make whatever they want. Like, man, like who else has done that? Who else has basically sold a game engine to people and been like, here, play this? Right. And a lot of people loved it. Like it's not like it wasn't a crazy hit success, but it also was like most people who jumped into it were like, oh, this is a lot of fun actually,
I feel the same way about Tearaway. I think Tearaway is a masterpiece. I've said that before too, and I'll continue to say it. I think in my book, Tearaway is a 10 out of 10. From start to finish. It is Media Molecule making it their version of an adventure game, but it still has their creative elements in it. They let you design things. They use every inch of the PlayStation Vita, you know, in a fun and interesting way.
Yeah.
You know, because they're just that good. But yeah, I don't know. I absolutely adore Tearaway, and I wish that more people would have been able to play it. And I'm not talking about the PS4 version because it's not nearly as good as Vita. But man, what a game. And that, like you said, it puts on display just how good at game design and how good at creating wonder that Media Molecule is.
That's the word right there. Like they just create things that just like bring so much wonder and delight to people. It's like, who in the world would have ever thought of this? They did.
Right.
You know what?
It's a world made of paper and it all makes incredible. Sense.
Yep.
Come on.
It's fantastic. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a sad state of affairs. I mean, it's exciting again that they're making something new, but again, diving into the article and realizing like, oh man, they're doing this out of desperation. It's just a bummer.
Maybe they're on the one for you, one for me, right? Dreams was their one for me. Now they're gonna make one for you, one for Sony, and then they get to make one more for themselves.
If they are allowed to do that, that would be incredible. Like that would be best case scenario. Like, all right, yeah, make your game, which I'm sure is still going to be as charming and creative as ever. And then make your silly creative game, you know, that's like not a game or something like that. Like that would be great. I just don't want Media Molecule to just turn into a shell of itself to the point where they start making bad stuff and then they get axed, you know?
Right.
You know, because if they're not enjoying the process and what they're making and doing, then
what's the point?
Yeah. So look forward to the new IP. Who knows? We might hear about it soon, but also, man, it'll be interesting to see the future.
Best of luck, Media Molecule. The world needs you, dude. The world needs you guys.
100%.
Game development needs you guys. Gaming needs you guys.
And with that, let's move on to this last news story. This last news story comes to us from Wesley Yinpool over at IGN. God of War Ragnarok reportedly the next PlayStation exclusive to hit PC. God of War Ragnarok is the next PlayStation exclusive to launch on PC, according to a fresh report. Reliable PlayStation Store leaker Bill Kuhn, writing for Deal Labs, claimed Sony Santa Monica's hugely popular action game will soon land on PC, although they failed to offer a release date. An announcement Bill Kuhn said is set for sometime in May. God of War Ragnarok launched on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 in November 2022 and was a monster hit with critics and players. It became the fastest selling first-party game in PlayStation history, shifting 5.1 million units in its first week. As of November 2023, God of War Ragnarok has sold over 15 million copies, and last year Valhalla's DLC was equally well received. PC release this fall would come 2 years after the game's console debut. It just goes on to talk about other PC releases, talking about how there's been Horizon Forbidden West, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Last of Us Part 1, Ghost of Tsushima. I guess something we talked about before the show, and we can talk about it now. The only games that haven't come to PC yet are this game, Spider-Man 2, and after reading this article, I didn't realize it, but technically Last of Us Part 2 has not come to PC yet.
Really?
I think according to this, Last of Us Part 1 came out, but we've not gotten Part 2 on PC. Didn't. No, not yet. So I'm surprised that Ragnarok would be next before 2, unless it's just maybe they think it's too close together with Last of Us Part 1 coming out just like in the fall. Well, that was just this last fall, right?
That was a while ago, yeah.
Or last summer or something like that. And then like thinking the next year, Part 2, like maybe they're giving a little bit of breathing room, let people buy Part 1 as much as possible, and then let it wane, and then they put out the second one and everyone will be like, oh, I gotta go play Part 1 now, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think what they're really doing, in my opinion, is they're putting out Ragnarok now as a stopgap, because they're gonna hold Part 2 to put it on PC until the next season of the show comes out, just like they did with Part 1.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I think the next season of Last of Us is supposed to be next year, so why not just hold it? Let God of War Ragnarok be the PC marquee title, you can even do Ragnarok now and then do Spider-Man at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then you can do Last of Us Part 2 when season 2 of the show comes out next year.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, they're running out of exclusives. PlayStation needs to get on it, do something.
Well, that's their own fault. That's why they don't have anything coming out this year.
It's just wild to think that they're burning through their list already, and they're about out. They're about out here.
If only they would invest in smaller games,
right?
Some single A size, double A size games, but those don't bring in $8 billion in 10 minutes. So
exactly,
who cares?
Yeah. This is unrelated to this article, but I just wanted to say it just hit me. This next week is going to be bonkers crazy on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, because we have 3 stories all about basically us just criticizing these different game studios, but both Xbox and PlayStation. So all day Wednesday, we're just going to get all these hate comments about how we're such Sony ponies and we're just riding Sony, and that's why we hate Xbox so much. And then Thursday and Friday, it's going to be all these people being like, you guys just love our Xbox. You guys are Xbox fanboys, and you're just hating on PlayStation and Sony, like talking all this bad stuff about them. I don't know. That just hit me. I just had to bring it up because I think it's really funny. It's like, really, we love video games. We love all video games, but it's okay to be critical about things that we care about.
Right.
We're not one side or the other. Anyways, let's carry on with the news story. That just made me chuckle.
I agree.
They're both doing
dumb stuff.
That just made me chuckle because I'm like, oh, we're going to get so much hate because obviously the clips
I don't care. I don't care in the slightest. I know what I'm talking about, and you know what you're talking about. This is an equal opportunity roasting show, all right?
100%,
you do something
100%.
dumb, I'm going to get on your head about it.
But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, I thought it was out already. It doesn't come out until May 16th. That comes out in 3 days on PC. So that is technically the next game coming out on PC. But yeah, Ragnarok kind of makes sense. I guess with that DLC having come out, there's lots of, well, not lots, but there's stuff to do. There's the original content and some extras. And I don't know. Do you think, because you mentioned getting Spider-Man like the end of the year, like if we get God of War Ragnarok summer, fall-ish, getting
No,
Spider-Man.
I forgot about Ghost. I think it's gonna be Ghost now, Ragnarok end of the year.
Okay.
Spider-Man start of 2025.
Yeah.
And then Last of Us whenever the second season comes out in 2025.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Because I was gonna say, I was like, man, it seems like they're kind of like blowing it like all so fast right off the bat. But yeah, that kind of checks out. Like, yeah, they would kind of spread it out more. I didn't realize that Ghost hasn't been out yet. But yeah.
What a great game.
What's that?
I said, what a great game Ghost was. I
played quite a bit of it, loved it, and never finished it. I really want to go back. Like after I finish, it's kind of been in the back of my head. Once I finish Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I might jump into Ghost of Tsushima as my my offline game. Because obviously online I'm playing Kingdom Hearts 2 on stream and stuff like that. But I think my offline game, it'll be Ghost, because I don't know. Yeah, it's such a gorgeous game. Like the combat's so much fun, all the abilities, like it's so cool. And playing it with Japanese language, English subtitles on it.
That's how I did it.
It's so cool. And doesn't it have it has a mode where it's like a black and white mode, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to mimic Akira Kurosawa films.
Yep. I think I did it for a little bit, and it's cool, but it's like it's hard. It would be hard to play a whole game like that.
Yeah.
But
there's too much color in the world for you to play it like that.
For like some fight scenes, it's cool, and then it's like, all right, let's go back to the normal mode. A boss fight, all right, turn it on. All right, back in the world, let's turn it off. Such a gorgeous game. Yeah, I'm excited for all the PC players to get to experience that, and hopefully you'll get to experience God of War Ragnarok soon too. Now, is the first God of War remake on PC?
It's already on there.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, you're right. That came out a while ago. So, well, the whole package. Good stuff. Well, with that, I believe it's time to head on over to Patreon ad town.
Let's do it.
All right, this is the part of the show where I tell you to go to patreon.com/supergamerboys and support us starting at just Adrian, you gotta do the breadcrumbs. You gotta thank you. All right, you can go now if you need to. He supports over at patreon.com/supergamerboys starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1. You get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show. That's right, if you're listening live while we're recording on Monday evening, we take down all the VODs. But if you want to check it out, support us on Patreon, $1, and you get the full version of it, all edited and cleaned up. Not all the shenanigans that you get on the live stream. Nice, finished, polished product later tonight. Once we finish recording, I go and edit it and get it all uploaded for you. So think about supporting us there at $1. And you get the Patreon exclusive content, just like Super Later Boys and previous season Super Gamer Book Club that are only available over there. Think about it. Just $1 a month. That's nothing. Pocket change. Go find 4 quarters on the street. I'm sure walking down the street. Go walk down, check out the sidewalk, you know. You'll probably find 4 quarters in like 10 minutes. And then you can support us at the $5 a month level as well, where you can get all those previous perks and the show notes early. So that's right. Sunday, I go ahead and put those show notes together, what we're going to be talking about, all the news stories, listener questions, what we've been playing. And if you want to leave your questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, anything about those show notes, go ahead and leave them right there on the doc or comment on the Patreon post, whatever, like, belong, leave, whatever you want to do there. You can drop, be a part of the show, essentially. You can see what the show's going to be about, and you can leave your own comments. Say, hey, maybe you want to answer what Mario Party is your favorite. Maybe you want to give your thoughts on the Xbox story. Maybe you want to tell us what game you've been playing and what you think about it, or comment on the games we've been playing. So think about supporting us over there, $5 a month. Now we got our $10 a month Patreon Super Gamer sponsors. You can support us at $10 a month, get all those previous perks, and a big old shout out at the top of each and every episode. And then there's a top dog tier, $15 a month, Patreon producer, where you can support us at $15 a month and get ad-free, get early, get Patreon exclusive, get show notes, get the shout outs, and you can also get to pitch us a show segment. If you have any ideas for the show you think would be funny or interesting or informative, or maybe a little YouTube short series or whatever your little heart desires, think about pitching it to us. All ideas are vetted, so if you want to run it by us before you support us on Patreon, by all means do that. But so far we've pretty much done like all the things I think that's ever been pitched to us, and it's been a blast. Super Indie Boys back in the day was Adrian when he was a Patreon producer. That was a segment in the show, and then even turned into its own spin-off content once he joined us. We've even had Kajoma's Card Game Corner for a bit over on our main show here during a segment, and we also spun it off for a little bit over on social media. So if you want to be awesome like those folks over at Patreon, think about it. Patreon.com/SuperGamerBoys. Moving on in the ad here, sgbstore.com. You can support us over there by buying some sweet merch. We got hats, we got sweatshirts, we got t-shirts, we got stickers, we got coffee mugs. Whatever your heart desires, we got over there. And here's a little hint to all you folks out there. We may be dropping some hot summer merch soon here. I've been working on stuff, and let me tell you, pretty stoked about it. It's now that I have so much time in my day, spend a lot of time designing stuff and trying to put a new summer line together. So stay tuned. Hopefully it'll be out in time for summer. That's my hope. It's a lot more work than I thought, but either way, we try to keep that updated, try to keep stuff up there for you guys, and stuff that is up there. Very, very good. You should go check it out, sgbstore.com. Last but not least, if you want to support us here on Twitch, twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys, you can support us for free. Do you know that? If you have Amazon Prime, you can link it to your Twitch account and use your free Prime gaming subscription right here on this channel. Cost you $0. We get $5. You get access to ad-free viewing of our Twitch stream. You get access to our emotes, and you get access to, well, other stuff that's not related to our channel. You get free games, you get free blah, 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 all sorts of other stuff. Amazon, Twitch, lengthy accounts. You get some cool stuff through there. But the main thing, you get to help our channel for free. Doesn't cost you anything. We get $5 and you get to watch us ad free. You don't have to deal with dumb old ad breaks. This one you have to listen to, unfortunately, because this is baked in. But the one that's, probably happened like 10 minutes ago, you could have skipped. All right. Well, that is it for our ad. Now let's go ahead and move on with the show. All right, Adrian, we're back.
Yes, sir.
And I have a very important question for you. What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Well, in addition to
you know our classic segment. What have you been playing?
Yes, of course. That's the refined version of it. That's the one where we had to wear smoking jackets.
My kind sir, what have you been playing?
I must know. Well, in addition to my continued Pokemon Gold journey, which is going well, got a couple of more badges, doing okay over there. I every blue moon get the itch to just sit down and play a little Minecraft.
What?
Yeah. Why are you looking like that? It's a fantastic game.
It's not.
What are you talking about? Are you doing this right now? Are you crazy?
I do not like Minecraft.
Oh, you're
I
bugging.
never
Minecraft
did.
is phenomenal.
I think the first time I played it was like probably just like 4 or 5 years ago. And it's been around for a lot longer than that.
Yeah, I know. I played it when it first came out.
Yeah. But when it first came out, I was one of those, because it came out like what, 2010?
Around there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was in high school, just about graduated. I graduated in 2011. I was one of those kids who was just like, I was a dumb kid.
What is this? Why does it look like that?
But I was one of those kids who was like, oh, this game is for like babies, for like little kids. Like, I'm over here playing Metal Gear Solid 4. I don't need this baby game. Yeah, I just, for the longest time, I was like, it's a stupid baby game. No one needs that. No one wants that. And then it wasn't until like, seriously, like 2018, 2019, maybe I finally played. I'm like, this is fine. I still don't like it, but it's not what I thought it was. I understand why people like it. I do not like it.
And you know what? That's fair.
But
you are more than welcome to have what?
I will say, it's more the fact, and we've talked about this before, it's more of a survival type. I'm not necessarily a survival type gamer. Like Pal World came out, and I'm like, this is a lot of fun. But I'm not going to play this because I don't like love this game. It's too tedious, too much work.
Mm-hmm.
There was another game we tried to play that was like more like a survival co-op game, and I played it for like, I don't know, a week, and I'm like, this is fun, but realistically, I don't have time for this. So yeah, so that's more what it is. I just don't like the survival create like that time. It's like, it's too much.
I was gonna say, you do know that they have a mode where you can just make stuff. You don't have to do the survival part.
That's worse.
That's worse. Why?
Because it's pointless.
What do you mean?
Now there's no reason.
That's like saying Lego are pointless.
There's no reason to that then, because then there's like no, like if I play a video game, we've had this discussion before. I like video games for the stories. I can play if a game has poor gameplay to it, like it has some weird things, like I can be extremely forgiving if the story's really good. So with a game where the story is non-existent, to me, that's like, what's the point? Why even do it? You know?
I mean, that's fair. But you have had, like you said, I would argue that Pal World definitely does not have a story, and you still had a pretty good time with that for a while.
But that's also why I don't play it anymore now.
That's fair.
It wasn't worth the time investment for me. It's like, all right, there's no point. Like, I had fun while I played it, but why continue to invest in it when it's going to be the same thing for 100 hours?
Right. I mean, for me, it's a combination. It's not enough of a survival sim where it's like you need to watch your blood sugar or anything like that. It doesn't get to that level of detail, not even close, but it's enough to make you like, okay, I gotta make sure I'm not hungry because I won't heal if I'm hungry. Just things like that. That's fine. Yeah. And it's really more about like bringing to life whatever structure that you're thinking about trying to make, or whatever system or, base or anything, a sculpture that whatever is in your mind's eye and surviving well enough to be able to see it to fruition.
Yeah, Lula
that's
in the
what's
chat.
fun for me.
Lula in the chat says, do you not like building? And that's like, I do. I do. Like, I do enjoy that. That's probably, but to me, it's like, okay, then it's like, I want to build, but I have to go find those resources. I can't just build. I got to go find where the heck they are in the world.
But you can just build.
Can you?
Yeah, that's what I said. You have creative mode. It gives you access to everything.
I thought you still had to go like collect resources and stuff like that. Okay.
You pull up a menu and you can pick anything in the game and just spawn it and you can just build.
Okay. Maybe I've never played creative mode then. Maybe I've only just played.
See?
I don't know. I've played it just a couple times in the last couple years because my oldest son Shep really likes it. He's not good at it, so we don't do it often because it's more frustrating for me trying to explain to him how to like, no, stop running into that wall, stupid stuff like that. But I am not a fan of creative mode. I don't like it at all. I love survival mode. I like having to work and find things and go out and have an adventure. Yeah, even with creative mode, like I think I'd get bored at a certain point because again, there's nothing to like. Okay, I can build to my heart's content, and that can be fun for like a short amount of time. That's a nice like little like in between game. Like maybe if I didn't have hundreds of games on my video game backlog, and I also and there wasn't a game coming up in the next like month or two that I was interested in purchasing, then I might maybe sit down and play creative mode in Minecraft. It's like an in between game, but otherwise, yeah, for me it's hard to justify spending time when there's so many good stories out there. I just love stories. I don't know.
I'm with you. But that's what I've been playing. Good sir. What have you been playing?
Hooey, I have been playing. I played some more Kingdom Hearts 2 on stream.
Did you beat the car?
Beat the cars off stream.
Love it.
Because people did not need to see me get salty on stream anymore. Yeah, it was rough. Even still, I looked up guides and all the guides are just like, use magic. And I'm like, what?
Thanks,
I guess. So I did, and it helped, but I still, like, it took me a long time. And then I remembered, I'm like, oh, I have a summon. I think I remember when we did the book club for the first game, I remember us having a conversation about, I never used summons in the first game. At all.
Which is crazy to me, which is nuts. I didn't
use summons.
Did you just not know they were there or?
No, yeah, I had no idea until, I had no idea they were there. Cause like, because there was no like, I shouldn't say there wasn't. Maybe there was and I missed it. I don't remember there ever being a tutorial pop up being like, here, you got a summon and here's how to use it. Like it might pop up and say, you've unlocked something. Cause like I have a vague memory of seeing that, like you've unlocked this, but they never taught you how to use it or where to find it. So I just never touched it. But anyways, so yeah, I got to the cars and threw freaking Chicken Little out there and he just aggroes everything. So even the fire, even the flames. So like the chaos bar, it kept the chaos bar from falling or the whatever. It wasn't called chaos. What was it? Something like that. But the chaos bar, it kept that from filling up, kept the cars from killing me. And I just like destroyed everything. And I was like, that was like a cheat code. It was like almost too easy. I was like, that helps. That did it. But yeah, we got through it. And then I was shocked. I was heading to the next world. I'm like, oh, where should I go? I was asking some people and no one was answering me in the chat. A couple people in the chat. I'm like, where should I go? Where should I go? And they're like, just wherever you want. I'm like, all right. It was between, I can't remember, what I think is Little Mermaid World, it looks like. And then there was a pirate ship. Atlantica, and then there was a pirate ship that I thought was Peter Pan World. And then I showed up and freaking.
I already know what you're gonna ready to say.
Freaking Pirates of the Caribbean music starts playing, and Jack Sparrow shows up. I'm like, this is the best game ever created. That's all I needed. I need a little Jack Sparrow and Will Turner in my life. Oh man,
Elizabeth is there too.
She was there too. She's all right, but my crush. I had a big old poster. I had a big poster on my wall of Will and a big poster of Jack Sparrow. I could care less about Elizabeth.
Your priorities are in order, apparently.
Seriously, as a kid, I had a big poster, Pirates of the Caribbean poster.
I believe you.
Jack.
I 100% believe you.
Forget Elizabeth.
You don't gotta convince me.
Girls, gross. Ew. I would sit I had the UMD disc for my PSP of Pirates of the Caribbean. It would just watch that on repeat over and over and over and over again.
That PSP disc drive saw you coming and said, "Oh God, not again! I'm tired of spinning this."
But man, I was so freaking stoked. I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" That was the last thing I was expecting. I had no idea there was Pirates of the Caribbean and Kingdom Hearts 2. And,
I love that.
I was loving it.
I love that.
It was hard. Some of the fights with like the undead dudes or whatever, like the cursed pirates, like. That was tricky. That was hard, but we got through it. We got through the end. Yeah, good times. But the other new game I've been playing, which is what everyone probably is going to care about.
Oh, shoot, I forgot to say that too.
Yeah, new release, Animal Well. This is an indie game made by, what's his name?
One dude, right?
So the name of the studio is Big Mode, but it's, Billy Basso.
That's the publisher.
No. Oh yeah, you're right. So yeah, it's made, developed by Shared Memory, but Billy Basso,
That's it.
Shared Memory, it's one and the same. And published by Big Mode, which is Donkey's
Video game
Donkey.
Everybody counted him out. They're like, what does he know about games? Duh, 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 duh. And then he came out with a 9, 10, 9.5, crushed it.
I mean, it's gotten a Destructoid, give it a 10 out of 10. Eurogamer, 5 out of 5. GameSpot, 9 out of 10. IGN, 9 out of 10. Nintendo Life, 10 out of 10. PC Gamer, 90 out of 100. Like, OpenCritic, 100% recommended on OpenCritic.
It's almost like if you play enough games, you know what's good and you know what's not. Huh.
Exactly.
Weird.
Exactly.
It's almost like you don't always necessarily have to be a developer to know what a good game is. Wow.
Yep. But this game, absolutely just mind-blowingly beautiful. I love the art style in this, and the direction, the music, the sound effects. Everything is so absolutely incredible about this. The gameplay itself is also very, very good. It is like a Metroidvania puzzle game, which I'm notoriously bad at video games and especially bad at these types of games. But even still, when this came out on, was it Wednesday, Thursday? Sometime last week.
Somewhere around there?
I basically, since it came out, I've been playing it. It was free because I have a PlayStation Plus subscription, which was amazing.
Boy.
So if you have a PlayStation Plus Premium, I think it's only for the premium tier, which is the highest tier. But if you have a premium subscription, it's free. And I picked it up and I've been streaming it on my Steam Deck though. And the app I use on my Steam Deck for the remote play just recently added HDR. And let me tell you, this game in OLED HDR, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, the sound design.
That's what makes me want to pick it up on Switch, is because I know it'll be on OLED.
Yeah. So good. But this is a game where it shouldn't work for me but that's just how well Billy Basso does with the environmental storytelling. Because I know I just got done with a rant talking about how I love a good story in a game. And this game doesn't smack you across the face with a story. It's very similar to Metroid back in the day, Super Metroid, where it's all about the environment, the boss you're running into, and you're learning kind of what's happening in this world just through experiencing it and solving these puzzles and seeing the different biomes and locations and whatnot. And man, it's really working for me right now. And I think it was a couple weeks ago I was talking about how I'm not tired of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like the exact opposite. Like I am just absolutely ready to just devour every ounce of that game, and still am.
But it's good to take a break every now and then.
But I kind of said, like, I feel like I just need a little bit of like a palate cleanser, something to just kind of like, and not that I'm tired of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but I was just getting excited about other games and felt like I was stuck. I was feeling like claustrophobic almost. And jumping into this and played it for, literally since the day it came out, all through the weekend. That's all I played. I haven't touched Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in a while, and just played this a couple hours every day. Oh, it's so good. Loving it. The little items you find, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's this incredible, I love how, and I don't think this is a spoiler, there's no combat in the game.
Right.
Which is interesting.
There's defense. You can defend yourself.
Exactly.
But that's about it.
So you're finding different items that either help you traverse or help you defend or help you whatever, get different places. And I love that. I don't know. It just makes it harder, but also makes it so like rewarding, because you just got to think a different way. It's not just like smash, attack, button smash until something's gone. It's very much like, oh, okay, like, how do I get around this thing? Or do I have something that can stun the thing or push it back or whatever? There's all these different possibilities to defend yourself or to just flee from it. And I love that. This is such a different way of looking at a game, especially like this style of game. It's literally called Metroidvania, based off of Metroid and Castlevania style gameplay, which is all about the violence and beating things up and blowing things up. And I love how this is like, we're going to take that gameplay style, but turn on its head, where it's all about like this pacifist run, get through it without hurting anything and getting hurt yourself. It's cool. I like it. I highly recommend it. And if you have PlayStation, you can play it for free. And it's on Switch and PC, if I remember right. So you can get it. It's not on Xbox, but yeah, you can get it through Steam, get it on Switch and PlayStation. Go do it.
Yep.
It's fantastic. Highly recommend it. Now, you said you played a little bit. What were some of your thoughts on it?
I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I am a big fan of these kind of games where it's the exploration, definitely homage to Metroid. Like I said, Super Metroid is my favorite game of all time. So this is right up my alley. I absolutely agree. I love that there is a different take of your main objective is to explore.
Yes.
Right. You're not eradicating anybody. You're not, you know what I mean? There's no boss, at least not that I know of yet.
Yeah, their take on bosses is very different, because it's not, there's no combat. So it's not like, shoot him in the belly button, blow him up. It's like very much like it's
more like do whatever you need to do to stay alive so that you can keep exploring.
Yeah, get the chest or get around them or whatever it might be, and then move on. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, this game is phenomenal. It's so good. I really can see myself getting lost in it, but I feel like it's probably only 5 hours or so. I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, I've played like a couple hours each day for the past like 4 or 5 days, and I might be getting close to the end, but it doesn't feel like it. I don't know. Like, it feels like there's a lot going on still, but
I didn't expect it to be that long.
Yeah, I feel like I read somewhere. I think it's some of the reviews, actually. Some of the reviewers took about 15 to 20, I think.
Okay. That's not too long, but it's longer than I thought it was going to be.
Okay, that's like a completionist run. Okay, I just looked up on how long to beat. The average is about 6 hours, so I might be getting close to the end. Might be getting close to the end. Oh, or I'm just, like I said, I'm bad at video games. I'm probably nowhere close to the end. But yeah, go check it out. Oh, it's actually even on Steam. It's on sale right now. Probably like a launch sale. So get it for $22.
Do it.
All right. Well, I think that's it for the show. Thank you all so much for listening. We appreciate each and every one of you who listen here on podcast apps each and every week. We're watching over on youtube.com/SuperGamerBoys, or who catch it live while we stream the recording Monday nights at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time over at twitch.tv/TheSuperGamerBoys. Everyone is awesome. As the hit Lego movie said, the hit.
All right, you're starting to spiral here.
All right. Adrian, No, Adrian does not like to have fun. He doesn't like when I have fun.
Oh, I love when you have fun. I'm just trying to figure out where you were going.
You just don't like me to get silly. No silliness from Garrett. I'm not allowed to be silly.
Yes, of course. Yes. I hate fun. I hate creativity.
Sucks. And that's why you should go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys and support us. Because you won't have any fun over there. No fun at all for $1 a month. It's the worst dollar you'll ever spend, and you'll hate it, but you'll do it because you hate it.
This is alternate universe Garrett right here. I don't know how you switch bodies with Garrett without me knowing. But why are you trying to sabotage us?
You can also go to sgbstore.com and buy some just horrendous merch over there that you'll hate. Every bit of it. You'll drink out of a coffee mug that has a lumpy. This is our
downfall.
That has a lumpy edge on it. Isn't that the worst? Drinking out of a lumpy coffee mug? That's horrible. Or a t-shirt that's actually like has a hole right in the middle of your chest. And it's not on purpose. It's not there on purpose. It's because they're bad at making shirts over there. Go buy our merch, sgbstore.com. You'll hate it. You can also rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Music. You'll probably give us 1 star, and that's fine. We deserve it. Adrian's like, Garrett, stop it. I don't like this bit. You can shout out to...
I'm gonna let you go with it. I'm gonna let you said I'm letting you have fun. Since I'm apparently the fun police, you go ahead. You go right ahead.
I want to give a huge shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use some of your music on the show. This episode, as I said earlier on here, Jack Sriracha and Yate is what you've been hearing tonight. So go check them out on Apple Music and Spotify. I'm not going to say anything bad about them because they're actually incredible. In fact, if you're not going to listen to this podcast, go listen to their music. That's what I would say. You can find us during the week at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I am on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can the fine folks find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere on the internet at Homeboy.
And you know what? I think that's about it. That's all I got for this terrible, terrible show you've all watched. So Adrian, take us away.
Sounds like a plan, folks. Thank you for hanging out with us and watching and listening for another week of the Super Gamer Boys podcast. As always, we appreciate any and all support that you give us, whether it be here or on the Patreon. Just listening, watching, telling a friend, it all helps. We are doing fantastically as far as our journey to 500. I definitely do think it's still attainable, even more now than ever.
Like 398. We're almost to 400. Just in the last week.
Almost to big 400, baby.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. So continue to stay with us as we keep going and keep shooting for the moon. And hopefully we get past it one day. You never know. One day we could be looking back on this conversation being like, man, remember when we only had 400? You know what I mean?
Crazy.
So
rolling in our money and just laughing at all you foolish listeners for giving us money on Patreon.
I'm not saying all that. I don't need a whole bunch of money. I just want to be able to do this full time. That's it.
Yes.
But yeah. And with that comes a close to another week. And as always, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
Me, the fun police. I can't believe you said that to me. How dare you? I'm the one that tells you about all the cool, fun games. If I was boring, I wouldn't be able to find them.
We'll talk about this off there. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.